Well, today, Lene is joining me to do Hunkydory's Wildflower collection, and look at this. This is just one of the beauties that she's done. Won't you please come play with us? Okay, so let me show you what Lene's been working with. So this is the Wildflowers Luxury Topper Collection, and as you know, this has all of the foiled goodies. This has 116 foiled die cuts, 8 foiled cardstock, 8 printed cardstock. There are 50 gold foiled extra die cuts, and you do get the instruction sheet, so that's lots of ideas. And to coordinate, there are the adorable scoreable solid cardstock. Then Hunkydory does a really nice job with the inserts, and Lene's going to give us some ideas of how to use it. This has not only the inserts, which have kind of a ghosted back image of the same things that are in the collection, but also double-sided paper, so that's new. And speaking of new, there is this cutting die, and this is called Roll a Daisy. So this is fun, and Hunkydory's done one better. They've done instructions on the inside, but I'll kind of show you what Lene did. Finally, there is the tag pad, and Lene did not use this. I'm not sure, I must have messed up and not given it to her, but this is part of the collection also. These are 3x5 tags. They are in the artwork that is part of the Wildflowers collection. So, okay, let's get moving and get to the pretties, okay? Here is the first. And this is on our 5x6.5 inch card. And as I'm looking at this, I just, of course, am loving the foiling as always. So let me show you what Lene used. Now, she went into the adorable scoreable cardstock, and there's this kind of sage green. Now, she used that to cover the front of her card. And what I mean by that is to take your card, your 5x6.5 inch card is what Lene used, and put glue along the edges. I like to make a big X in the middle, and then position the cardstock along the fold and along one edge of the card. Press down, turn it over, and simply cut along the edge of the card. That way it's going to match perfectly, and we like that, and it's easy, and you don't have to measure it. Okay, now going next step, we're going to take the printed cardstock, and this is the one that is matching these die cuts that Lene used, and here is the set. Wildflowers is a beautiful name for these, and they always have a name up here. This is called Love and Happiness. So this is the piece that Lene used, but first she used the printed cardstock. Okay, this is not the foil, this is the printed that's in the Topper collection. And with that, you can see that she used this piece. So she simply trimmed it down to fit a little bit smaller than her 5x6.5 inch card. So this is probably 5 3/4 by 6 1/4, something like that, and glued it down. Okay, now we'll hold on to this because this is the same artwork that is done in the foiling. Now this has a couple of pieces. So there's an outer frame and then the inner focal. So what Lene did is she glued the outer frame down, and then she foam taped the focal, so it just has a little bit of a lift, and that works nicely. Then she added this piece that's going to overlap right here, and then the Enjoy Your Day, which is right there. Everything's on the sheet. It just works beautifully. Now, she did add a couple of extra touches, as we love to do. This is the gold border Dazzles, and you can see that they're just gorgeous. They work so well with the foiling, don't they? And she put a piece up here and another piece right there. And then she went into, of course, our yellow ribbon collection and tied and zotted one right there. So that just creates that front so effortlessly. Now, on the inside, this is a typical technique that Lene does, and I think it's really clever. So she went into the inserts and she used this one. Now again, it's the same artwork. You can tell it's ghosted back from what we have on the front, and that's why it's called an insert. Now she cut it to measure to fit the inside of her open card. So this is going to be 6.5 by 10 inches. She scored it in the middle. And then she put glue only along the fold of the card, placed her insert in there, and that way you have this really nice little area that you can use. Now you can certainly glue this down if you want to. Lene just chose not to do so. Now in the opening, I talked about that topper collection having extra die cuts. Well, this is one of those sheets, and you can see what Lene has done. So she's gone to the dandelion and popped that out and glued it down, and then this is kind of a plant poke, and it says dandelions, and she's put those two overlapping in a little bow, and that takes care of her card. Everything is coordinated and everything just works so nicely. Okay, ready for card number 2? Here we go. This is a 5x5 card. Now you can get the card base in 2 ways. One, you can take your 5x6.5 inch card, cut 1.5 inches off of it, and you've got a 5x5. Or Hunkydory has, and we have, their 5x5 cards and envelopes. So you can do it either way. It just works out very nicely. Now, to cover the card, what Lene did is she took, this is the foiled adorable scorable that is in the topper collection. Pretty, pretty, pretty. But what Lene used is just this area. Okay, so right there. So same thing, put glue on her card, position this, and then trim it to fit. But she did something else, is that she inked the edge. So let me bring in the roasted coffee is what she used. And I think that's really a fun selection, because I wouldn't have necessarily thought to go with a brown, but look, it just works so nicely. So obviously you just go right along the edge of your card, and you do this before you get anything else glued on top, of course. So that's a good trick. Now, here we have the sheet of die cuts that she used, and it's this one. It is called I Believe in You. Nice names and lots of beauties. And this one is what she has used. So again, just like our first one that had 2 layers, this has 3. So you get this solid gold foiled frame that she didn't use. So you can set that aside and use it later. So this piece is going to get matted onto a piece that comes from the inserts, and it's this. Okay, you can kind of see it right there. See how you can see it in the backing? So what Lene did is she cut a 4-inch square of this and glued it to the back of that outer frame, and then foam taped that piece to her card front, and then foam taped the inner frame, the inner focal, on top. So then you get all of those colors, all of those layers. Really nice, very clever. And that's why I think that Hunkydory has begun putting the double-sided, in fact they are double-sided, let me show you. So that's one side and there's the other side. So I think about half of the, let's see, 16 of the 40 sheets are double-sided in those inserts. Now for my special friend right here, and then also the purple ribbon out of the purple ribbon set, as you would imagine. Now, she's also done something else. Let me get this out of the way. Is that she used some of our jewel dazzles. Now, our jewel dazzles have 540 pieces on one sheet, 3 different sizes. You have a gazillion right there. And she's added them at the corners. And what Lene has found that she loves, and I'll tell you, by the number we sell, you love them too. This is the jewel picker. And what it has is 2 ends that have a sticky substance on them. So what you can do is simply go into the dazzle sheet, press firmly, lift it up, and then you can place your dazzles wherever you want. So there is a broader tip here, and then there is a narrower tip on the other end. Okay, so you can see that. So just another little tip from Lene, so appreciate that. Now we'll go to the inside of our card, and once again Lene has used the coordinating insert. Well, why would you not? So she has done the same thing. She's trimmed it to fit, so it's just slightly smaller than 5 by 5. She did the inking with the roasted coffee, and then she also added another of the pieces from that bonus sheet, You Are Beautiful. And then there's more Dazzles there, and the little one's right down there. Now that's glued straight in, just like you kind of would normally do. So really nice, but I think that edging is just a really nice, easy touch. Okay, you ready for more? Well, the woman has been busy, and here we go. Now this is, well, let me just open it for you. This is a gatefold card, okay? Now, as you know, a gatefold card, when we start with our 5 by 6.5 inch cards, you want to open it up flat, and then you're going to measure 2.5 inches on the right side and score, 2.5 inches from the left side and score. Now, Lene suggests, and most of our design team recommends, using a score tool of some sort. Hunkydory is our favorite because it has the bone folder attached. So you just pop that out like so and place this and do your scoring, turn it around, score your other, and that way you get a really nice crisp fold, and that's what we're looking for. So this is going to be placed like so. Now what Lene used to cover her card front is, again, going back to the inserts, and she used this one. It's not foiled, it is just a solid, and she's going to use this side. So this panel is going to get the one with the bow. This panel is going to get the tan one, okay? And that is what she has done right here. So you can kind of peek through and see that. Now there is a border down here, and that is going to come from this sheet. This again is the topper. It's called Beautiful Blooms. And as you can see, she has used this piece, but she also used the green border. And so that just goes right along the bottom as you would expect it to do. Now, let's go into the rest of the card. And let me show you. We'll get to the daisies in just a moment, but first I want to just point out what's happening here. This is another 3-layer die. We're going to use, again, the outside and only the inside, so that foiled circle is yours to play with somewhere else. And then the outer edge is going to get glued only to the left side. And notice that this is a bit down from the front of the card. So probably about 1 inch from the bottom would work for you. So just glue that to the left and then glue the inner one only to the right. And that way they can intersect there, just kind of juxtapose. Okay, these other little pieces are also on this sheet, so you can just glue those down. Okay, you're ready for the daisy. Now the daisy is this cutting die, and as I said, there are instructions right here. So that's what Lene followed. Simply do the die cut, and I probably should point out, these are all of the pieces that you get. So there are 9 pieces, including 2 greetings. The daisy, the center, in fact, you can make 2 different sizes of daisies. We've got a couple of leaves, so it's a nice collection. That's where they all are on the back. Okay, so when you die cut this out, and what Lene used, in fact, I'll show you the 3 colors. She used these 3 out of the Adorable Scoreable. So the tan, kind of the mustard, and then the soft green. Obviously, the tan is going to be for our daisy. And what you do is you start in the center and you start tightly curling it. So just curling it, and it's going to get flat, but you want to curl it like so. And I don't think I'm going to go the whole way because you get the idea. So you see that, just curling? Okay. Then we're going to flatten it like this. And as you flatten it, you can adjust those flowers. Okay? So that's all you do, and you're going to get multiple layers, and you can see what's happening there. Then you'll need to go and do the center. Now, the center and the leaves are brushed with ink pads, and you can really see how nicely that is done. So on that kind of soft yellow, this is where she did her center, and then she took the blending brush and used Canary just on one edge. And what I love about that, and can we get in tighter, Houston, is that you're going to get a shadow, and it just gives it a bit more dimension. Plus the die has these little crescents in them that also add that. It's just really nice. So that is going to go into the center of your daisy, like so, to you know, take care of that kind of combination in the center. And you can see how she's done that. Now with the leaves, she used the blender brush as well as Rainforest Green, again, to give a little bit of dimension on the edges. It's just a small thing, but it adds so much to the look of what we're doing. Okay, we'll back up and we'll go inside. And inside, okay, so she used this piece for the outside, but then this area of it, so don't waste anything, this is going to go on the inside. So you're trimming that to 5 by 6.5, gluing it in the center. That way it's going to cover up that fold because we don't want that to show. And then she's added daisy foil die cut, foam taped it down, and you've got room to do your greeting there, there, or there. And so that works just very, very nicely. Okay, I have one more beauty from Lene, and that's the one that I showed you in the opening, and it looks like this. Now, Lene calls this a double Z fold, and let me show you. Easy to make, super easy to make. So we are going to take our 5 by 6.5 inch card, and we are going to, oops, let me turn it over, measure 2.5 inches, score it using whatever tool you have, and then this is going to get folded back like so. And you probably want to use your bone folder or the handle of your scissors, something really to push that back. So this becomes our piece. Now, Lene used, as I talked about before, those double-sided papers. She used one from the insert collection and covered that front section. You can see it right there. Now, with this design, you have 3 panels. 1, 2, 3. So Lene cut a second piece and glued it to the inside panel out of this same paper. Again, it's double-sided, so you have that option. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about this little, the second Z, and that is made out of a strip of cardstock, and Lene used this pink from the Adorable Scoreable collection, and she cut it to be 10 inches by 1.5 inches. And then going from the left, she scored at 2.5 inches and at 5 inches, okay? So then you get a long piece and then 2 smaller pieces. Now this is going to go, and I'm actually going to end up turning it over. This is going to go right here. So as you can see, so you were going to do a mountain fold and then a valley fold, just like this, okay? So that's going to get glued there on the front. Now for the inside, before you glue this piece in place, I just wanted to show you that that comes from the insert. And that insert is again going to look just like the flowers. She simply put glue on the inside of the card, positioned her insert, trimmed it to fit. Super, super easy. Now you can place this piece. So you're going to glue it. It's about 1/2 inch from the bottom. Now you just want to glue it to the front panel, let this fold, and then glue it to the inside panel. So then that this piece just is going to bend nicely. So you're just gluing the outside of each end down, okay? Now what I think is really fun is how she has decorated this. So here we have, this is out of the I'm So Excited, and just a beautiful piece right there. Again, this is foam taped, and it is just on the left side. I forgot to mention that this piece goes down the center of this second Z, so that's going to do a nice job. You can just glue it down and then score it again to make sure that that's going to be nice and crisp. Then she's got these pieces from those bonus strips. These are anemones. And then with love up here, foam taped, also from the sheets. And just really pretty. It's just a really dramatic card. And it's one reason that we love the 5 by 6.5 inch size so much, because it just does such a great job. Now, as I said, Lene did not use the Wildflower tag book. This has been such a popular style from Hunkydory, so I wanted to make sure that you did see it. So again, just to recap, this collection begins with the Wildflowers Luxury Topper Collection. You saw how many of the adorable scoreable solids were used. Guess we have to back up a little bit. And then the inserts with the double-sided papers included. The Rolla Daisy, really, really nice. Don't forget, daisies come in lots of colors. And finally, the Wildflowers tag pad. So all of that is together. You can buy them individually, of course. And I do want to thank Lene again for pitch hitting for Heidi, who is recovering and is back at doing some projects for us. So that's nice. But thank you, Lene. And I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. You are, of course, the most important part. And as always, on the right side of your screen, there is a money saver. Might as well save some money while you're looking at these beauties. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please head on over to Paper Wishes. I believe that there is a button you can press down at YouTube to take you over, and you can enjoy the money saver and take a look at the other things we have for you. So again, thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time.